And of course, Rita, that's so disappointing when you get a kind of role modeling for your son that is so different to the values that you and your husband hold very dear and the things that you were hoping to teach your son. You can see already where he's begun to suppress his emotions, and that's exactly what you did not want to have happen. That's such a difficult problem for us all as parents that we wish that we could create a bubble around our children so that they learn the values that we hold dear, but inescapably they go out to the world every day and they are so powerfully influenced by other people, teachers, other elders in the community, other children, or their peer group is a very powerful influence. The older they get, that this is more and more true, and we can't stop that happening. However, it doesn't mean we're powerless, and I'll talk about that in a few moments. But do you know, a role model is all the more powerful when and more influential when we look up to them, when we think very highly of them. We absorb more of their values when we look up to them. And you said that this is a teacher that your son really, really liked and looked up to. So I understand what has happened for your son, that when the teacher said what the teacher said about crying, that was a shaming message, and that it has made your son feel emotionally unsafe to show his feelings. He internalized that so much that now he's telling some of his buddies, his pals, that we shouldn't cry. And I understand that. He doesn't feel safe to cry. He has discovered, and this is an important truth that your son has discovered, that when you go out in the world, it's not safe to show our feelings with everybody. There are some people that don't welcome that and that they have these negative judgments about emotions. So the bottom line is that there are no negative emotions. Emotions are a language, and the purpose of crying is that not only it connects us so that people can hear us and understand us and open their hearts to us, but also it helps us to... Crying is a very important evolutionary process that helps us to process our pain, our grief, and then we move on completely renewed. So it's very important to be able to cry for boys and for girls. But there are unfortunately many people around the world that don't get that, many cultures that resist that, as you are seeing, and your son has discovered that. What do we do as parents when sometimes the world reflects the opposite of what we are trying to teach at home? You do have a power. It's important that you understand that. And that's the power of role modeling, and you've already been doing that. As long as you have your environment at home where you demonstrate that you show emotion and you stand up for your own emotion, and your husband stands up for his own emotion, that if he's sad or you're sad, that you show that a little bit. It doesn't have to be huge, but even just to let your voice and your face reveal when you feel sad, or when you feel angry, or when you feel afraid, and show that in your home it is safe through your demonstration, and it is welcome to show emotion. Your son will never forget that. It's important to trust that. At the moment, he's walking around with a shield because he has discovered, to his shock, that out there in the world there are people who say, no, we don't like that. You mustn't cry, it's bad. And that people will shame you for showing emotion out there. Some people, not everybody. He has discovered that. What your son will begin to differentiate that is that it's not a universal truth. And you can explain that to him. Some people have a belief, you mustn't cry. Some people don't have that belief. Some, like you, and you welcome crying, emotion, because you know that it's just a process and it passes, but it communicates from the heart, so it's very important and you value that. So there are these different environments. Your son wants to learn how to adapt to those different environments. It's not completely a bad thing that he hides his emotions. I do that. when I don't feel safe. Sometimes we all do that. So your son needs to learn to be watchful and to see in that environment where people say that emotions are negative, well, it's okay to be a little guarded and to not show my heart in that place, because it won't be a friendly environment for my emotions. But in that environment, with some friends that are more open, or with my mum and dad, or with my family, there I can relax and be myself more fully. To be able to, see, we don't want to be open all of the time. We want to learn how to be discerning. Where is the safe space? Where is the unsafe space? And to adapt accordingly, to be flexible, to move with the different environments that we are in. Now, you also will need the help and support of others, so that he sees with his own eyes and with his heart that not only mum and dad are these strange people that say emotions are okay, but there are others as well. Invite those people to your life. Make sure that your son is exposed to that other kind of culture. Isn't it interesting how even in one culture there are many cultures? So expose your son to as many people as you can, friends, family, special people, your tribe, your sub-community, subculture, where he can see with his own eyes that, gee, some people feel very, very comfortable and happy with the showing of emotion. When he really gets that there are two different worlds that way, he will really be okay. He'll just know, like all of us have to learn, that you adapt. You can show emotion here, but you probably are better off not showing emotion there. And that is okay. And good for you for being the kinds of parents that support your son and want to support your son to really, really be himself and to know his own heart. Thank you for your question.